Hey, Sherman Ragland, the Realinvestor, and I'm oftentimes asked, Sherman, what exactly is that circular thing that you show in your videos and that you give us, and what exactly is that? And this is not really so much as of a logo, although I guess you could call it a logo, as much as it is sort of a statement and a stand. And what it is it's 5 arrows in a circle, and each one of the arrows represents the different phases of what you go through as a real estate investor. And it's sort of the road that you travel along as you become a real investor. So of course, the first one is quick cash. That's a skill set that every real estate investor needs, and I quite frankly think it's the first skill set that you should develop as a real estate investor on your road to becoming a real investor, learning how to generate literally $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on demand within a week, within 2 weeks, within 21 days, because you're always going to need quick cash. I don't care how big you get in this business, you're always going to need a couple $1,000 here and there for whatever reason, and sometimes it's just fun money, right? So quick cash and learning how to generate quick cash. And then of course the next phase you go through is what's called chunks of cash, where you go from making a quick $1,000 to $5,000 to generating $35,000 to $50,000, and some cases 100,000, and each one of these arrows represents a phase, but there's specific strategies, 3 or 4 specific strategies that goes behind each one of those phases. So the next phase is the quick cash, and then of course there is the cash flow, and that's when you really start to know that you are a real investor, because now you have income, passive income producing properties that allows you to do things like maybe take off for a month to some tropical paradise, and you're not worried about your bills getting paid because you have rental properties, you have assets that are generating an income stream every single month, and you can start truly living the real investor lifestyle. And then that fourth phase is what I call wealth acceleration. And wealth acceleration usually happens in your, second or third year in the business, where you are so good at what you do that people start singing your praises, deals just start popping up in your email box, people just start referring things to you, and that's when your wealth really takes off. That's where you go from like 6-figure to 7-figure overnight. And at Realinvestors, we actually have a plan to show you how to get into each one of these phases, including that wealth acceleration phase. And then the last phase, that 5th phase, is what I call legacy wealth. And that's when you are literally passing on not only what you know, but also your assets onto the next generation, and understanding things like asset protection and using land trusts and LLCs creatively and all kinds of other tools to make sure that most of what you spend a lifetime building, or half a lifetime building as the case might be, doesn't wind up in the hands of the government and the taxman. So each one of those 5 phases represents really the journey that you go along as you become a real investor. And so the question is, Sherman, why is it in a circle? And I guess there's 3 reasons why it's in a circle. Number one is it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool looking, isn't it? I think it's kind of cool looking, right? That's part of the reason. But fundamentally the more important reason is because once you go through each one of those 5 phases, the single smartest thing you can do personally is to teach somebody else. Teach a child, teach a spouse, teach somebody that you really deeply love and care about, so that they too can join you in the land of wealth and freedom. They too can get on the path to becoming a real investor. So the idea and the goal is not to learn it well enough to make it happen for you, but to learn it well enough to teach it to somebody else. And that's the reason why it's in a circle. And the third and final reason is the simple truth of the matter is legacy wealth, that last phase, is not about you making a lot of money and putting everything in land trust and handing it over to your kids. There's too many horror stories about families where the first generation makes all the money and then the second generation blows it on stupid stuff. So if you really want to create legacy wealth, something to pass on to the next generation, you should learn each one of those 5 phases or the preceding 4 phases well enough that you're not only passing along money, you're not only passing along real estate, you're not only passing along wealth, you're also passing along the knowledge as to how you did it so that they too can do it for themselves. And that's where you create what I call perpetual legacy wealth. So that's why this is, in the form of a circle. Each one of the outer rings, those arrows, represents the 5 phases. And of course, all of it ultimately leads towards becoming a real investor. And it's the reason why Realinvestors and the Realinvestors Academy and online REIU, or Realinvestors U, exists, to help you successfully transverse each one of those 5 phases and to successfully become a real investor. Sherman Ragland for Real Investors, Sherman Ragland, the Real Investor. I hope that this was informative. I encourage you and welcome you to come along for the journey and to go ahead, fill out the information below and take one of our quick quizzes or sign up for one of our quick classes and learn how to pass through successfully each one of these 5 phases, because each one you can be making serious money as you're learning it. As we like to say, learn it while you earn it, you know, earn it while you learn it, excuse me. So we want to make sure that you successfully pass through each one of these 5 phases, not only to create wealth for yourself, but to then learn how to teach it to others and pass along true perpetuating legacy wealth. Sherman Ragland for Real Investors. Thanks for stopping by. Talk to you soon. Bye.